Bom dia, boa tarde ou boa noite. Hoje temos... Myriam Valenzuela é uma professora de yoga experiente com 2 décadas de prática, profundamente empenhada em orientar os outros na sua jornada para bem-estar físico e espiritual. Com um passado no catolicismo e no cristianismo, tendo sido criada na fé durante 30 anos. Myriam experimentou uma profunda transformação através de brutais despertares espirituais que a levaram a deixar a religião e a abraçar uma abordagem mais holística e expansiva da espiritualidade através do conhecimento oculto. Para além de ensinar yoga, respiração e meditação, ela é uma coach certificada da Lei da Assunção e Life Coach, ajudando as pessoas a aproveitar o poder dos seus pensamentos e crenças para criar a vida que desejam. A sua mistura única de sabedoria espiritual e competências práticas de coaching capacita a humanidade a alcançar o crescimento pessoal, a paz interior e a realização. Gostem, partilhem e subscrevam o canal Sinergias Holísticas, onde a espiritualidade é de todos nós.
Hello. Okay. So, thank you for being here. And Myriam, can you tell us, speak about you a little bit for starter?
Yes, I was born in Mexico and I moved to the United States like 20 years ago. And I had a yoga studio and a dance studio, and I came upon a spiritual awakening around 2019. And that led me to understand and discover and experience a lot of things that I had no clue they existed. And that's how I decided to share that with other people that are going through that.
But you in your early life, you have any kind of spiritual awakening, any kind of depressions, something like that, in your youth?
Like in my childhood?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I did experience certain things. I grew up Catholic I stayed there for about 30 years. And after that, I spent 8 years as a Christian. And after that is when I had that spiritual awakening and I actually left the church. And in my childhood, I did have mystical experiences. I didn't understand very well what it was. I would hear voices, like beautiful voices, just calling my name. I would see, I don't know, like beams of light from areas in my house or where I was walking. I experienced a deep connection with Source. I spent a lot of time alone in my childhood. So I think those are the main things that I can think of. I did have some strangers come up to me and give me messages as I was growing up, and I couldn't understand exactly what was. I think I understood better now that I'm older and that I had my awakening and realized, that those were, I don't know, I guess angels or divine beings in higher realms that were there to guide me.
So you heard voices when you're in your childhood, yes?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It could be angels. You related it to angels or no, or just voices?
Yes. I think it was like angelic voices because the sound and the emotion that I would feel. I had a little bit of a rough childhood. So hearing those voices would always bring a deep sense of inner peace, of being loved by something. And the sound, just the voice of it was like a female voice, and it was just very loving. And it would just call my name, and I would feel instant that inner peace. It wasn't that often, as I said, but it was. And I did have certain people that just look like human beings, right? Like appearing in my life out of nowhere and giving me certain messages. or a hug. Like I remember this lady, I was walking, I think I was in my early teenagers, and I was walking and she just gave me a hug all of a sudden, and it took me by surprise because I was walking with a friend, and then gave me a message that I was going to be immensely blessed and that I was divinely protected and all those things. And then the lady kept walking, and I don't know, I just don't know what happened in that moment. Like I was just caught by surprise.
Yes, it was in your childhood, yes? Mhm. In your
Yes, this
childhood.
happened childhood and early
Mhm.
teenage years. Yes.
And do we have passed any kind of depression or no?
Depression?
Yes.
Um, I don't know. I remember thinking that I was actually born depressed because I don't know, but as I said, it's in my family there was alcoholism, so I guess you could say I was depressed. You know, there was abuse at home. Um, it wasn't very peaceful to be there. So yeah, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
Like I didn't go to a doctor to be, diagnosed.
Okay. So you never been in the psychiatrics, no, nothing of
No,
this. No.
no.
And you born in Mexico. And what is the native spirituality of Mexico? Can you tell us about this?
I am not sure, to be honest. Like I don't know. I know people are the majority of people are strongly connected to religious beliefs, to
Mhm.
Catholicism, and I don't know, I haven't lived there in 20 years, so I'm not very sure. And the place that I was born, it's a border with United States, so I feel like I was very influenced by United States since I was born. Since we would travel a lot here, and part of my family was already living in United States.
Okay. So you left Catholicism, you left the Christian church. Yes, you left.
Yes, yes, I did that. I was Catholic 30 years, and then I there were a lot of things that didn't make sense to me. Just the way that priests behave, or
Mhm.
the things that the Bible said, and it just didn't make sense. Like you could pay to have your sins removed, and I don't know, things that just didn't click well with me. So I moved into Christian church, non-denominational, and I was there for 8 years, and I met some beautiful people and everything, but I divorced after 18 years of marriage. And with that, I that's when I started my deep inner healing, and I started realizing many things. And then I had a spiritual awakening. I had been practicing yoga and teaching for about 20 years. So I'm not sure if that also contributed to that spiritual awakening at that moment. Um, I had also other traumatic experiences that came upon with the divorce. I know that a lot of times that's what can ignite a spiritual awakening. So that is when I left completely every religion. I just disconnected from all of that and started exploring just my own connection with source, with God, and with nature, and just started really diving deep into meditation, just silent meditation, just within my own self.
So you practice meditation from 20 years ago? Yes.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes. But I feel like, I started teaching yoga like 20 years ago, and I feel like I didn't even have a clue of what yoga truly means. I feel the majority of people think is just the stretching and it makes you feel good. And that is how it started for me. So I wasn't very deep into meditation first. And then later I started meditating, but I think I hadn't really feel called to do like deep dive meditation, and that happened only after my spiritual awakening, that I really started seeing those things and understanding chakra. It's like the I knew the knowledge of it, but I hadn't experienced it. So when you haven't experienced something, you can understand, and you can, have great memory and be saying, all these chakras within the body and this and that, and you're a bucket of knowledge. But when you hadn't experienced it yourself, it's just a bucket of knowledge. So I feel like after that awakening is when I really started feeling those things within me. Like I really started feeling the activations of my chakra system, of my kundalini, of my merkaba, like really feeling mm, this energy centers within me. Like I started feeling them within my body. And at the beginning, they were very, very subtle. So the more that you practice that, the more that you're able to feel it. And that happened with the meditation as well. I used to do a lot of guided meditations, like to listen to them, right? Because I didn't know like what to do or how to heal myself or things like that. But then with time, I stopped all of that and just focus on me being silent, just listening, opening myself to listen to that divine guidance. Because when we have a lot of noise with guided meditations or this or that, they're great and they help you, but you don't leave room for silence to receive what you need at that moment, right? Or to go into a deeper level as well.
Yes, silence is very important to
Yeah.
meditation. You,
Yes.
you can only achieve deeper levels of, of meditation with silence.
Yes, that
Mhm.
is so true. It's like you really open a portal of deeper wisdom and knowledge within yourself, and you start learning to communicate energetically more with the whole cosmos. So you stop talking a lot, you just start leaning more towards the silence, just in general in your life, because you find that during that silence, during the meditation, there's no noise. Like there's no mental noise. It's just peace. It's just, you're just being. You don't have to worry. You don't have to overthink. And that space is just bliss, right? But it needs to be cultivated. And yeah, like you said, with silence.
So you only practice yoga, meditation, or have you any other kind of spiritual matters? Just yoga? Oh.
I practice, I have been a dancer since I was 4 years old. And the type of dances that I practice are actually connected to Mother Earth and to spirituality, but most people just see them as a sensual dance, and it's belly dance, Hawaiian
Biodance, you know biodance? You know biodance? Biodance or biodance.
no, belly dance.
I know what is belly dance, but biodance is a dancing invented by a psychiatric. I think
Oh,
it was I think in South America, and it was to help the people free themselves from the traumas. And
oh,
you could search biodance or
oh,
in,
never heard of that. That's very
in
interesting.
Spanish we could see biodanza, biodanza, biodanza.
Oh, that's beautiful. I never knew that, but yeah, it's
It's a
powerful.
therapeutical dance used to trauma relief, and it's very popular now in Europe. It's very spiritual dance also because you connect with yourself and with the others.
Mhm.
The others are your mirror. So you are meeting each others. It's very nice because you project your traumas in the other side, and the other side project to yourself. So it's a sharing of traumas and the release of traumas. It's very
Oh,
nice and spiritual. Okay.
yeah, that sounds powerful too.
Hmm.
Because that sounds like people actually go with the intention of doing that as
Yes.
well.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, see, because in my case, I taught those dances, but when I try to tell people about the spiritual side, they weren't very interested.
It's unbelievable. Yes.
Yeah, they
The
just wanted to look sexy and to dance beautiful. That's it. you know. So,
yes, but this time, this century is the century of spirituality. Do you agree? The
yeah.
spiritual awakening of Mother Earth.
Yes, it's beautiful to witness, and I love it because I do see a lot of people learning and wanting more, like finally, finally awakening and being like, this is not who I am. Connecting to the earth. I love watching like TikToks and stuff of people like moving to remote places, to areas that are away from the city, and how they're reconnecting with nature and the earth, and I love that.
Because spirituality is also your self knowledge. Yes,
Yes,
that's the people are afraid to look deep inside of ourselves. Many people
yes,
are afraid of that. Do you agree?
yes, that is the journey. That is the journey, like, and I think that, yes, a lot of people are learning that, but I think there's still some people that it just goes through their head, because it's like, we're so used to being focused externally, right? Like on other people and what they think of me and this and that. And when you realize that it's all within, and that's why meditation is key, because that's where you can shut down everything outside and just be here with you. It's like you turn the focus inwardly.
Yes, and it's very important because you can also heal from any kind of wounds. Yes, you have in the past.
Yes.
So it's very important the self knowledge, and I'm still propagating the message like you and the others because it's very important in this century. The people release the material world that we have been living for the past 200 years since science revolution and industrial revolution, and now it's time to free ourselves to know ourselves better. Yes.
Yes. Yes. And with that comes, like you said, a lot of healing, a lot of freedom, and a lot of connection. It's like authenticity. You connect with people that are also on that path, and everything that you knew is just sheds naturally away from your life, like people, jobs, circumstances. It's like you rise up, right, with other people that are also going upwards. And it is a beautiful journey, that's for sure. I'm very happy to be living these things and to be witnessing this and connecting to other people that understand this, like you and other people that watch my channel or that come into my life in one way or another, and everything just flows.
So you help your people through yoga and meditation, or
No, I used to have a yoga studio, but then when COVID came and that, it was around 2021, and I had already going a little deeper into my spiritual awakening. And with that, I wanted to stop working. I was feeling so drained of the business aspect of having a yoga studio, having to be advertising and having people like been chasing them to pay, and people that were not really interested in diving deeper. They just wanted to feel cool that they were practicing yoga or that they were doing dance, and want to they didn't get the understanding of the spirituality behind that. So I stopped teaching all that, and then I decided to do a yoga channel. But I also ended up deleting that because I started getting comments of like more like sexual oriented. So I just deleted that channel. So right now I have two YouTube channels of dance. I still teach Hawaiian dancing there and Tahitian dancing, belly dance. And then I also have my spirituality or metaphysics channel, manifestation, all that. And that's pretty much what I do. But yeah, my life started going more into hermit mode. So I live
Yes.
more like a hermit.
Do you agree that COVID, it was a moment for many people to spiritual awaken? The COVID.
Yes,
Mhm.
I think in many, many ways, because also technology, I feel like it has played a big role, because now like you and me, we can just connect like this, right? You can just click on any social media, you can find people there that are teaching about this, about how to heal yourself in many levels, right? Like some of them are just like personal experiences. Like there's this guy that I like to watch on YouTube, and it's so simple. It's like Jimmy on relationships, and he basically was a cheater, and what he learned from that, now he's just teaching other people how to communicate and all that. And it's such a beautiful like page, and I feel like there's so many people. And yes, I love that. I love because everybody's has a beautiful message. The people that crossed your life, they help you in one way or another. I started doing a lot of more gardening in my garden as well, and I just felt so called to start my own foods, even though I don't live like in a farm area or whatever. I just started doing my own foods, connecting deeper with the land. And I don't know. I do agree that COVID brought a lot of people either to be at home alone, because some of them didn't have families, and then they realized the comfort of being at home, of a slow paced life. And even though they were still working, they were in their PJs, they were more relaxed. And many of them, they don't even want to go back to a physical location. And people were also, families were quote unquote forced to be together, because society just spreads the family apart like very abruptly, with school, with work. And then they wonder why families are, so many divorces, and parents can't connect with the kids because there's no relation, right? Like everybody's out. So yeah, I think that was a great time for people to actually start connecting and being with themselves. I remember knowing about couples that they were starting to like they just couldn't be with each other. They were so sick of each other, but that helped them to learn to communicate, because they were kind of stranded with with themselves. So, but yeah, I mean, that's how we grow, right? Like not everything is out of comfort. A lot of the growth happens out of discomfort, right? So
Yes, yes. And many people are afraid to be alone, to be in the silence. But the silence is very important to self
it
knowledge.
is. It is very important. Yes. And I agree what you're saying, that people are afraid. I had friends that live by themselves, but they always had to be busy. Even my ex-husband, that happened to, always like they have to have mind chatter, noise, right? Like either music with lyrics or a show. I remember my ex-husband even would get to a shower with the phone inside the shower. He had to have noise and sound all day, every day, and that will definitely keep you stuck. You cannot move forward if you don't open the channels to receive that healing, that love, that guidance for growth. You're constantly distracted, right? So yeah, silence is wonderful.
Wonderful, because in this area of technology, the attention is diminishing. Your focus is losing. You lose your focus.
Yeah.
So the spirituality has this gift to reconnect with yourself and with others. Uh, when you do practice meditation, you release, you detach for this world, and you enter in a peaceful mind and state, and you calm down, and everything starts to make sense again. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. It's a beautiful journey when you really start getting to know yourself, and you experience pain because you have to look at all those things and all those areas that you need to heal, right? And it feels uncomfortable. But then once you get in it, you start releasing all that weight that you've been carrying for so long.
Yes,
And
yes. Mhm.
you're able to just fully begin to be, just be, which that's what we should be doing since the beginning, but we just didn't know. Yeah.
Because if you take a look at Indians and Amazon, Brazil, they are very simple people, but they are very peaceful. They are connected
Yes.
with the nature, with the trees. They are very
Yes.
peaceful, very quiet, very peaceful.
Yes. So now that you mentioned that, the natives, Hawaiian culture, Tahitian culture, especially Hawaiians, because those are the ones that have been more into preserving that, they're basically like natives, right? So when it comes to their Hawaiian dancing, it's all about connecting, like the movements of the body are in connection to the motions of nature. For example, for Hawaiian dance, the movement of the hips is resembling the movement of the ocean, of the waves, the cycles of life. The movements of the hands are mimicking the wind, the palm trees, the water flow. And it's a beautiful dance because it talks about the connection. Tahitian dance, in that fast paced drumming beats where people move really fast, is connecting the drums, the dancer, and the heartbeat of Mother Earth. So they're beautiful cultures as well, like all the native cultures.
Because you see, all the native cultures live in peace, at least
Yes,
in the silence. They appreciate the silence.
yes,
There's
and they
something
live in
strange that our civilization does not appreciate silence.
yes, yes, because I feel like when people started getting into business, I feel that's when it got messed up because now everybody wanted to have more and more money and things and start disconnecting. And it's not that money is bad, but with these people that started focusing on that, making more money, making more buildings. Like even here where I live, I see a lot of buildings, like new things being built, and they're empty. They're empty, and it's like a thing of like expand, 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 but they're completely disconnected from Mother Earth and from who they are. Like these people are, you know so I'm so grateful that more and more people are going back to these ancient ways of native and just simplicity and silence and growing their own food and sun gazing, grounding, spending time with the trees, like just connecting.
Exactly. It's you are right. The modern civilization make a big cut in our connection with the nature, the planet, and within ourselves. So, our last question: do you think that this hype called artificial intelligence could help humanity to have free time to know herself? Or what do you think?
Like the modern time, if we have time for ourselves.
Yes. Do you think artificial intelligence could free human labor so that humans can have more time to know themselves?
Yes. I teach manifestation too, right? And it's all connected. But I think that there's also, your soul, your higher self will pull you away from those things. I found personally in my journey that a lot of things I was like, I just felt that in my intuition. I just felt, for example, when I had to close my yoga studio and do that, like I had no clue how I was going to survive, like money wise, right? Like financially. But I just knew that I had to follow that. I had to follow my heart. And I haven't had lack at all. Money has come, the people have come, the things, and I live a very abundant life. But I had to trust that inner guidance. So I feel that people are slowly but surely, well, some people are going faster, right? We're all different journeys. But yes, disconnecting from this. And a lot of people think it's chaos, right? It's like, oh no, like we're going to lose our jobs if they bring machines or whatever to do our jobs. But I think it all depends how you see it. Because, like you said, if a machine does something, then I can focus on myself. I can have more time for myself. I personally stopped like doing anything that was not following my heart day to day. What can make me happier? How can I open myself more to the infinite love, the infinite cosmos? And with that, I have been led and guided. So I think people are craving that inner peace, that people are exhausted of living, but of living the way that society in general, right? Like have three jobs and be on the go all the time and wait once a year if you can make it to a short vacation, be stressed all the time. And I think all of this was because we reached a breaking point. Like our soul just couldn't handle all this anymore. But again, I think it's part of the growth. I always think of a seed. So the seed is under the ground, it's in darkness, it's suffering that transformation. It's being ripped open to bring the plant out. It's shooting roots and probably doesn't even understand what's happening. But then it just blooms and it comes out, right? So I feel like we definitely needed, like it's duality, right? And we definitely needed those breaking points because we tend to not move much if we're in comfort. So we only take action or do things differently or set boundaries or let go of things when we can't hold it anymore.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to say anything more? I think
I
I think it's okay.
yeah.
We have to try to bring some more peace and silence for everyone. It's our job, peace and
Yeah.
silence, because it's very important in this burnout society. It's a burnout society. You agree? It's time to go back to inside of us again. Yes. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank
Okay.
you so much, Nuno. This was very lovely.
Okay. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.